So you don't like waiting or reading, but you want to know what will happen in Solo Leveling Season 2? Perfect. This video is going to summarize exactly what you should expect. Solo Leveling Season 1 covered a little more than the first book, so we'll pick up right where it left off, roughly 130 pages into Volume 2. With 20 soldiers extracted, Jinwoo watches them melt into his own shadow, just before the dungeon closes. Seeing as it's already morning, he immediately heads home to pass out, only to be awoken by a mid-afternoon phone call. It's Gina, reminding him her guardian teacher meeting is tonight at 5 p.m. Promising he'll be there, Jinwoo begins getting ready, only to notice his old suit doesn't fit anymore. This is of course due to the numerous level ups, and he thinks back on how far he's come, and begins wondering just how powerful his shadow army is. An interesting idea then pops into his mind. Is his shadow extraction skill restricted to only magic beasts? Or could he potentially extract the shadow of, let's say, a high-class hunter? Throwing out that idea as it's a line he should never cross, Jinwoo proceeds to dump all of his stat points into intelligence before switching to a newly earned title. At the bank, he realizes Jinwoo never mentioned how much money they were earning, and the teller blushes as she hands over his bank statement reading 1.5 billion won. Of course, he explains his profession, followed by the teller giving him the full VIP treatment. Not yet used to this type of attention, Jinwoo makes a hasty exit, buys a nice new suit, and arrives at school perfectly on time. Barely recognizing her older brother, Gina walks alongside him, noticing how all the girls seem to be staring. Offering to set him up on a date with a high school girl earns her a pinched cheek and ruffled hair, just before Jinwoo enters the meeting room. Inside, he's greeted by his sister's homeroom teacher, and after a 15-minute discussion, they both agree Gina is more than ready for med school. Miss Teacher, however, then switches topics, asking if he'd ever allow Gina to become a hunter. An immediate no is followed by the teacher asking Jinwoo for a favor. It turns out one of Gina's classmates recently awakened and has since been skipping school in pursuit of this glorified career. The first thing he needs to know is this girl's rank, which the teacher has heard is bottom of the barrel rank E. Even knowing firsthand all that awaits a rank E is death, Jinwoo still makes up his mind to decline since it's not really his problem. That is until the teacher reveals the student's name. Jinwoo is attending the annual memorial ceremony of Eugene Construction's first chairman. It's obvious to everyone that he doesn't want to be here, resulting in Jinwoo's gloomy attitude being scolded by his older brother Jin Sung. Hold up, that's not Jin Sung from the anime. Look. Not all characters have a full-body usable model I can use, so in those situations, I pick a similar character from a different anime to represent them. Their cousin, Soo-yeon Yu, shares Jinwoo's dislike for said brother, and wonders why Jinwoo doesn't stand up for himself. Being awakened, he could easily win a physical fight, but obviously that's not going to solve the core issue. Next, Soo-young verifies Jinwoo still wants to become the guildmaster, as she's already been offered a position, but really doesn't want to work under Jin Sung. Suddenly his phone rings, Jinwoo excitedly tells the boss he'll be right there, and rushes out of the room. Firmly stealing his resolve, he boldly asks his father if he could leave for a bit, and is actually given permission. His parents then discuss his sister's recent achievements, before mom suggests for Myung-han to spend some time with Jinwoo. Dad declares he's focused on raising tigers, not kittens, but mom calmly reminds him that Jinwoo is their child just like the others, and recently mom's noticed that Jinwoo has begun smiling again. At the Hunters Association, 2 employees are tinkering with a malfunctioning mana meter. Records state it was used 2 days ago to measure 7 different gates, but so far no issues with those gates have been reported. Due to this, they decide it's best not to properly report the malfunction. Sang-min, the man trying to recruit Jinwoo into the White Tiger Guild, is at home watching TV. Apparently, the Hunter Command Center in Washington, D.C. exploded, and it's suspected to be the result of 2 S-rank hunters fighting. The phone rings. Sang-min was not expecting to hear from Jinwoo, and is even more surprised that he's asking to observe a White Tiger Guild's training session. Thanks to Jinwoo giving him a ride, Jinwoo finds himself outside the problem student's apartment. Shocked, the girl asks why he's here, and we learn the problem student is Song Yi from their fake raid team. Realizing he must be the hunter the teacher asked her to meet with, she boldly declares to have no intention of giving up on being a hunter. That's okay because Jinwoo isn't here to convince her to quit. Instead, he declares his goal is to turn her into a great hunter. Our duo arrives at a dungeon to find the White Tiger Guild preparing to enter. They're greeted by Ki-chul, aka Sang-min's assistant, followed by a muscular jerk shouting for everyone to hurry up. That man is the squad leader and new A-rank hunter Chol Kim, and he's not happy to have Jinwoo observing his raid. The squad ranks include 1A, 7B, and 4C hunters, which is way overkill for a mere C rank gate, but this is meant to be a simple training exercise. Kichul politely asks Jinwoo not to participate in the fighting, and he happily agrees since his goal is just to show Sangyi how terrifying gates are for an E-rank hunter. As the last person to enter, Jinwoo touches the gate to find it's uncharacteristically clinging to him. Turning back, he shouts for them to get the main strike squad, followed by the gate sucking him inside as it turns a sinister shade of red. In a panic, Kichul reports the situation to his boss, causing Sangmin to exclaim it's not possible for C-level gates to turn into a red gate. Yoonho Baek, president of the White Tiger Guild, explains that red gates seal hunters inside, meaning there's no way to leave other than defeating the boss or surviving until a dungeon break. If that wasn't eerie enough, it's rumored that red gates are a pathway to the other world, and it's well known that red gates only spawn from rank B gates or higher. Kichul confirms the gate was measured to be rank C, but of course, the Hunters Association will never admit they messed up. Then if Baek looks at this realistically, they'll be extremely lucky if even a few of the trainees manage to survive. Well, the squad did have an extra hunter accompanying them. Baek blurts out asking if this person is rank A or rank B, and Sangmin declares Jinwoo to be E rank. Coming to, Jinwoo finds himself in a snow-covered forest, surrounded by his group of confused rookie hunters. Only himself and Chol have the awareness to immediately survey their surroundings. Catching an arrow mere inches from Sangyi's face, a scream cries out as a male hunter falls dead. The culprits are a pair of smiling ice elves way off in the distance, and we learn these magic beasts have been infamously nicknamed Ice Slayers. Those arrows were aimed at the two weakest among them, and upon snapping the arrow in hand, the Ice Slayers give Jinwoo an all-slit-your-throat gesture. As the only A rank, Chol takes charge, exclaiming that he's going to personally slay the boss of this gate. Everyone rallies behind their leader, but a few are pushed away, as only the strongest are allowed to fight alongside him. Oddly enough, a B-rank hunter steps out of Chol's party in favor of Jinwoo, so Chol does allow one weakling into his group. You see, it turns out this woman noticed how Jinwoo was the only hunter quick enough to react to those arrows. Outside the gate, they discuss the speculation surrounding Jinwoo's potential reawakening, but Baek chooses to instead place his hopes on Chol's shoulders. The manager of the White Tiger Guild surveillance team arrives, stating he personally trained Chol, and as such is confident he's able to handle this. These words bring Baek a bit of relief, and Sung-chan scoffs at the idea of a reawakened E rank being stronger than Chol. The B-rank Heejin asks if he's really rank E. Ignoring the question, Jinwoo instead wonders how these rookies are staying so calm. Of course, that's due to their training, and she prods him to answer the question. Is he really an E rank? This time, Jinwoo openly declares he has no obligation to answer, which Heejin takes as her suspicions being correct. With that, Chol chooses for his party to follow the path, while Jinwoo decides he'll be heading into the forest. Though after separating, Chol bursts into laughter at the pitifully ignorant E rank. You see, in the area, there was numerous trees containing claw marks, meaning the forest is home to powerful ice bears. His group shares in the humor, but wait, why did Chol assume that E rank to be leading the other party? Blocking the way, Heejin exclaims they need to turn back because this is ice bear territory, but that's the exact reason why Jinwoo chose the forest. If ice bears have claimed this entire area, then that means nothing here is stronger than an ice bear, while those ice slayers had clothes made from bear pelts. Then noticing that the cold is getting to everyone, Jinwoo opens a shop and buys enough winter gear for their entire group. The sight of this spatial magic leaves the group stunned and prompts Sangyi to wonder what he truly is. Needing to stop this before it begins, Jinwoo promises to protect Sangyi since he brought her here. However, she's not allowed to ask any questions. The no question rule applies to the rest of the group as well, and if anyone disagrees, they're free to leave at any time. So with that settled, Jinwoo takes a moment to switch his job title back to Wolf Assassin. A few moments later, they're confronted by an ice bear, and Heejin steps forward to act as a decoy. Yanking her backward, Jinwoo declares he will be fighting alone, as he wants the maximum amount of XP for the kills. Of course, she states that's impossible, but Jinwoo charges forward, jumps over the bear's claw attack, before driving his foot into its skull, instantly killing it. He then reminds everyone that questions will not be tolerated, followed by the group officially asking him to please be their leader. Outside the gate, 3 hours have passed, which means inside it's already been 3 full days. The only one here with Red Gate experience is President Baek, and he describes how inside a Red Gate can be anything from a scorching desert to a frozen tundra. Of course, magic beasts pose a large threat, however the fight against starvation and dehydration can be just as brutal. Jinwoo's party is casually roasting bear meat as they discuss the declining population of ice bears. Their leader is currently out exploring on his own, so someone openly wonders what his true rank could be, though fear of being left behind prevents anyone from answering. Finally, Jinwoo arrives to his goal, aka the home of the ice bears. Since he's finally alone, he eagerly summons the shadows to do the fighting for him, but upon contact, his army is disappointingly torn apart. However, to his delight, the seemingly destroyed shadows reform themselves and continue the assault. The frontline knights successfully pull the aggro, thus allowing the mages to channel powerful spells. Now, these massive fireballs indiscriminately blanket the area, but friendly fire doesn't matter when the knights can simply reform. Eventually, the bears do retreat, followed by a single massive bear emerging. This one is far stronger, plus the system just informed Jinwoo that he's out of mana, meaning the shadows can no longer revive. Finally, regretting his neglected intelligence stat, Jinwoo summons his final shadow to challenge the beast. Igris charges, gracefully sliding under an attack, while skillfully slicing at the bear's leg. Almost like a dance, Igris continues to evade an attack, until finally the beast is decapitated. Then with the bear head presented to Jinwoo as a trophy, our hunter begins to seriously doubt that he could have defeated Igris if the Red Knight hadn't discarded its sword. After collecting the item drops,
arise,
Jinwoo extracts some new shadows from the corpses, which includes the massive bear. Chol is frozen upon witnessing his bloody ally pleading for help. His party was starving, half frozen, and tired from fighting magic beasts, and that was when the Ice Slayers decided to ambush them. With a scream, Chol runs away, prompting an Ice Slayer to carefully ready an arrow, though the leader orders him not to shoot, but instead to follow. Now, our rank A hunter is refusing to accept he's at fault for this failure. If only they weren't starving and hypothermic, they definitely could have. Suddenly, the area opens up, revealing numerous ice bear corpses. By the way, if you're enjoying this video and want more, then just do me a favor and click that like button. Cool, thanks for doing that. It's been 5 days inside this gate, and Jinwoo just exterminated his third family of bears. At this point, he can store up to 30 shadows, and according to his own perception, this was the last of the magic beasts within the forest. Guess that means it's time to take down this gate's boss, and more importantly, to get revenge on that Ice Slayer from earlier. Following his nose toward the smell of cooked meat, Chol prepares to ambush the Ice Slayers, though he's rendered speechless upon seeing the luxury camp laid out before him. The only logical explanation is that this gear must have been meant for everyone, yet these low-rank hunters stole and hid it for themselves. That would also explain why B-rank Heejin willingly left his party. Ignoring her explanation, Chol demands to know the mastermind behind this crime, and only grows angry at their silence. Drawing his sword and giving them a count of 3, he immediately falls unconscious. Songyi cries tears of joy, but Jinwoo declares this A rank brought along some uninvited guests. With their cover blown, the Ice Slayers step out, and the boss proclaims that Jinwoo really is a special human. Both parties are surprised to find that Jinwoo understands the beast language, followed by the boss explaining that a certain Ice Slayer wishes to challenge Jinwoo to a duel. Said Ice Slayer falls dead with a knife lodged in its skull. Jinwoo wonders if they've anything else to discuss, so the boss goes on, wanting to know why Jinwoo is with these humans, even though he's not one of them. Realizing Jinwoo has no idea, the boss explains that all magic beasts hear a constant voice in their heads, ordering them to slaughter humans, yet that voice isn't telling him to kill Jinwoo. Due to this, the Ice Slayers are willing to let Jinwoo live, that is, if he hands over the humans behind him. In an attempt to learn more, Jinwoo asks where the Ice Slayers come from, and why it is they kill humans, causing the boss to freeze up, before repeating the same lines as before. Jinwoo rejects the offer. Mr. Boss points out you hunters are outnumbered, just as 30 shadows arise, causing Jinwoo to ask,
which side is outnumbered again?
Now enraged, the Ice Slayers prepare for battle, and Jinwoo knows his shadows stand no chance against the boss. To win this, he's going to need to find a powerful ally, and Chol is the perfect person for that role. The shadows charge into a volley of arrows, just as Jinwoo and the boss trade blows, each side wielding dual daggers. One of the hunters think they should help, but Heejin has enough awareness to know they'd only get in the way. Slowly but steadily, Jinwoo is the only one taking damage, and to make matters worse, his mana is rapidly depleting. A fiery explosion wakes Chol, who quickly grabs his sword, realizing that Jinwoo, the lowly E rank, is the one who knocked him out. Enraged and knowing firsthand they've no chance of defeating these Ice Slayers, Chol decides to use his last moments to kill Jinwoo. With the boss as a distraction, Chol's sword aims for Jinwoo's unguarded back. Igris appears, parries the blow, before plunging his sword hilt deep into the traitor. Switching places with the shadow, Jinwoo's content knowing that went just as expected.
Arise.
Chol's shadow is much larger than its corpse, and wields an entirely different weapon. It is, however, the same rank as Igris, and thus requires a name, which will be
Iron.
With Igris currently on the ropes, Iron roars using epic taunt to aggro the boss. The sight of all this leaves Heejin speechless, and Songyi wonders if all hunters fight like this. It being a 3 vs 1 allows Jinwoo to begin injuring the boss, however it keeps resisting his dagger's debuff. Jinwoo shouts, Iron grapples the boss, allowing the mage's fireballs to score a direct hit. The boss narrowly deflects the thrown dagger. Appearing from stealth, another sinks deep into the boss's gut. Still clinging to life, its dagger swings down again, but Iron's hammer crushes the boss flat. With the battle over, Jinwoo halts the third slam, eagerly approaching the corpse.
Arise.
It's the middle of the night, when the red gate finally begins to fade. As the survivors step out, they're surprised to find Chol is absent. However, Sangmin is excited to see Jinwoo alive and well. Ki-chul asks if this is everyone, and President Beck finds it hard to believe that only the weakest hunters survived. As Jinwoo leaves, Beck grabs his arm, but the E rank instantly breaks free, saying he's too tired to talk. Beck introduces himself as president of the White Tiger Guild, however Jinwoo couldn't care less. With 9 of its members dead, the president deserves to know what happened, but Jinwoo points out they should be thanking him for saving 3 of their members. After he's gone, Beck asks why the E rank was in such a bad mood, but Heejin isn't sure, as he didn't start acting like that until the boss was already dead. President Beck then states they must recruit Jinwoo into the White Tiger Guild, as he's genuinely unsure if he or Jinwoo is stronger. There's more to this book, but that's where the video ends, but I'll clue you in to why Jinwoo is so pissed off. It's because his skill failed all 3 attempts at resurrecting the boss. Now, I'm making at least one more video like this on solo leveling, so if you don't want to miss it, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a special shout out to Jacob and Uncle Denzil for becoming my 2 newest patrons.